let's recreate the Super Bowl 59. Yay, go Eagles! Go Eagles! Oh my God! Oh my God! Gotta call 911. Has that ever happened to you? You're celebrating the Super Bowl, you get a heart attack? It's not funny, but it's real. Good evening and welcome to Give Me a Break. I'm Jonathan Carmody. If you watch Super Bowl 59, you might have seen somebody cheering so loudly, blood pressure goes up, and they had a heart attack. That's exactly what happened. Let's take a look at this from Inside Edition.
Super Bowl 59 might be over, but did you know that some people were putting themselves at risk just watching the game? Check out this headline in the Wall Street Journal this week. Heart attacks rise during the Super Bowl. 49-year-old Angela Manville knows firsthand. She's a big fan of the Kansas City Chiefs and suffered a cardiac event as she watched them play in the Super Bowl 5 years ago. She ended up in the emergency room.
I started to get a really bad burning, like a heartburn feeling, but it wasn't heartburn. And then I started to feel it in my shoulder a little bit. And then it started to go up the back of my neck, into the back of my head. And so I told my husband, I said, I think I probably should go to the hospital.
New England Patriots fan Gary Bell had a similar experience. Gary says he was getting so worked up about the game that he started suffering intense chest pains even before kickoff. He was rushed to the hospital and found to be in the throes of a heart attack.
My heart rate was going crazy. They put me on the EKG. They told me I was having a heart attack.
Doctors stabilized him, and sure enough, at his insistence, he watched the Super Bowl from his hospital bed.
I begged them to let me go, so I was crazy enough. I left the hospital, went home and watched the second half.
So, what's going on here? Experts say it's a combination of stress, all that screaming, plus booze and greasy Super Bowl foods like chicken wings we love to eat on Super Bowl Sunday. The history of heart trouble adds to the dangerous mix.
Stress relief can be several things. It can be relaxation with medication, it can be exercise, it can be meditation, it can also be yoga.
Bottom line, you can still enjoy the game and other big-time sports events, just don't overdo it and know the risks.
Now, if I was a talk show host, to be like, you ever had a heart attack before? How about you?
We're outrageously dependable.
How about you?
It's really bright.
Then probably all of a sudden we would address common sense after having like enough guests. This is basically what I would say is common sense. Cut back. Cut back on your screaming. Cut back on your stress. Cut back on your greasy foods. Those three things can cause a heart attack. The beer, the band, and the bar stool. Which, that's just an old Luke Combs joke. The beer would be stress. The band would be alcohol, greasy foods, and the bar stool could be stress. Because I'm just messing around here. We have to cut back on things. A lot of people say, I don't want to cut back. Like, I get you don't want to cut back. Do you want to... Because with Super Bowl, no one wants to cut back. Cut back on your greasy foods. I mean, there is a thing as oven-based stuff. The bottom line here is just cut back. If you cut back, you'll have... If you cut back on stuff, you'll have a healthy life. Now, what happens when you lose your change?
Ever wonder what happens to all that change you've lost over the years? Americans throw away almost $70 million worth of change every year, and most of it ends up in the trash. And lots of that trash ends up here at Reworld Metals outside Philadelphia.
As amazing as it is, there is coin in these piles.
Hiding in those heaps of metal waste are tens of thousands of dollars worth of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters.
So these coins, we have to assume, are just getting lost in your couch cushions or your homes or your businesses for from the vacuums at car washes.
Using special machines, they run a massive coin recovery program that finds, sifts, and cleans.
We've already separated the coins and we've washed them, and now we're at the drying stage. You could be looking at a couple of $100 in coins sitting on this table right now.
Eventually, all that change, now clean, is recirculated back into the economy.
We will separate them by their denominations, about 50,000 pounds a year.
Lots of coins are too damaged to be saved.
For every good coin, there's probably 2 or 3 bad coins.
Each coin is hand sorted, and some of them turn out to be very rare.
We have a penny there that's probably from, I believe it's 1864.
Talk about pennies from heaven.
Almost $1 million worth of coins is put back in circulation.
So you better save up your loose change if you want to pay for your child's education. Remember that scene with Tuna and where Alan's trying to save his money, and so he was like carrying his big jug of coins, whatever. I would show you, but then I don't want to get demonetized. But he'd be like, do you have loose change in your house? Do you have loose change in your house? And this little talk show would be different. But it isn't. If it was, it'd be different. Alright. Switching gears now. We didn't do Project Baltimore on Monday, so we're going to catch up for a bit. And still to come, a story about a murder that happened in the Tax Scam USA. A hidden camera investigation reported by Lynn Shure. Because we are months away from that tax deadline, and if you think it's a scam, it is. Please stay with us. Look, there's nothing new than scrolling through YouTube, scrolling through social media, and finding fights happening in your school. I mean, what's the deal with fighting? There's no fighting on school property. You can't fight. You mean if it's over a girl, it's because you cheated on somebody? I mean, everyone's filming it. Another second look into school fights. But there was a violent fight that was caught in a Baltimore County school. But now the president you're about to meet says action must be taken to hold students accountable. So is this thing going to hold students accountable? Here's Chris Papps.
Monday, January 27th. A massive fight breaks out in the cafeteria of Woodlawn High School. This video, obtained by Fox 45 News, shows 27 seconds of students punching, kicking, and screaming. Tables knocked over, bodies thrown to the ground. This student gets trapped beneath 2 others while repeatedly getting punched in the head.
It's a horrific video.
Ryan Coleman is the president of the Randallstown chapter of the NAACP.
It's pretty much a brawl. I'd call it a brawl.
A brawl so large, we can't tell just how many students are involved. But what we can tell is that over these 27 chaotic seconds, no adults appear to intervene.
Where were the administrators? Where was the staff?
Woodlawn High School in southwest Baltimore County has about 1,900 students. According to the Maryland State Department of Education, Woodlawn earns just 2 out of 5 stars and ranks at the bottom 17% of all Maryland public high schools. And Coleman says student violence is a big reason why academic achievement at Woodlawn is low.
Woodlawn has been struggling academically for at least 20 years. I guess enough is enough. We have to make sure it's safe. If we don't have safety, if the kids don't feel safe, I just don't know how they can learn.
According to MSDE, over the past 3 school years, Woodlawn High School has seen a significant increase in student violence. During the 2021-2022 school year, Woodlawn recorded 110 suspensions or expulsions due to attacks, threats, or fighting. The following year, that number jumped to 136. Last year, during the 2023-2024 school year, there were 195 suspensions or expulsions due to attacks, threats, or fighting. a 77% increase in just 3 years. That's 195 suspensions or expulsions in a 180-day school year for attacks, threats, or fighting.
I mean, I'm a big accountability person, and I think that if you're going to disrupt other students from learning, then you don't need to be there. And you can go to an alternative school, or you can do online learning, but you can't be in school.
Project Baltimore emailed the video to Baltimore County Public Schools asking why there does not appear to be any Woodlawn staff who intervened to stop the fight. What steps were taken to hold the students accountable? And what is your message to parents who send their children to Woodlawn and fear for their safety? The district did not directly answer our questions, responding, BCPS will not tolerate unsafe and disruptive behaviors, and students who engage in these behaviors will face consequences. We urge all members of our community to speak with their children about the importance of making good decisions in and out of school and the dangers of engaging in fights.
And I think this is life or death, actually. I really do.
Coleman says this video is not just another school fight. He believes violence on this scale is a societal alarm, signaling a much bigger problem.
Because if they behave like that in school, what are they going to do next? And, I don't want to see any children hurt or killed, and I don't want them hurting and killing someone.
On February 13th at 8:30 in the morning, during school, the Randallstown chapter of the NAACP will take part in a community meeting at Woodlawn High School. Local businesses, the PTA, Baltimore County Police, and district administrators, we're told, will be in attendance, and student violence will be discussed. Because this video, Coleman says, must be the moment where Woodlawn High School changes.
These are different fights now. Because the level of violence that we're seeing with juveniles. Children cannot be going through life thinking that they have a brawl one day and then the next day they're back there to do it again. Like, there has to be consequences.
And you're hoping that happens now?
Now. Absolutely. I mean, it's incumbent on us to do this now.
Project Baltimore reached out to BCPS requesting to attend a Thursday morning's meeting at Woodlawn High School. We were denied. The school system told us the event is not open to the media, but Fox 45 News will provide you with any updates that do come out of that meeting. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore. I'm Chris Pabst.
In the meantime, I'm stressing you this, dads out there, you better listen good. Don't teach your kids if you're going to teach your kids how to fight, okay, but don't be telling them to go kick their asses. Because you know all about being expelled, being suspended. Because, when I was growing up, I never got suspended. I never got expelled from any school. I never started a school fight. But God forbid, if my father told me to go start up a fight, and he heard that I got expelled or suspended, it'd be two separate parents. My mom would be like, "You got to fight? How dare you?" Well, dad's like, "Man, that's my boy." It's like parenting is equal partnership. You need to, if you're being bullied, if you have a child being bullied, you need to talk to the school. Don't take it upon for your child to go to the YMCA, defend themselves, and then repeat it back at school. Remember the episode of King of the Hill where Bob was being bullied? And Hank told him, go to the YMCA. So he went to the YMCA. He goes to the YMCA. He used the same moves on Chang Wasana-san. That's my purse, I don't know you. Got detention. And he got grounded. We're not going to teach you how to fight here because I do not want this ever happening. But the common sense thing is, this is the belt line. Don't ever hit below that. Always above, never below. We ain't teach people how to fight, and we're not going to do that. We're not condoning violence, and I don't condone violence on this broadcast. And I would never do that. If that happened to me, I don't know what I'd do. But, again, parents, you need to talk to your kids. I mean, there's this one conversation I overheard where a child was being bullied. Yeah, a child was being bullied. And you know when this father's order, go out there and kick her ass. That's a quote. Her child, his daughter was being bullied. That's not the way to handle this. There's a certain amount of steps. And what the dad did, he missed all the steps. What are the steps? First, talk to your parents. That's what the daughter did. Second, you need to talk to the person that was there, like that was a teacher. Thirdly, the teacher's not going to do anything. You talk to the principal or the assistant principal. If the principal won't do anything, then you talk to the superintendent. If the superintendent's not going to do anything, then what you can do is address at your next school board meeting. And step number 6 is only the last resort. If you failed all those, then step number 6, hire a lawyer and sue the school district. That's how you can handle this. Don't go out of your way to go up ahead of step 6. It's a step-by-step process. And what people are doing, they just jump over the steps. No. Step by step by step by step, layer by layer by layer by layer. Like you're making lasagna or making a good cake. Think about it. Think about those 6 steps. If you take 5 out of 6, you're good to go. If you take 6 out of 6, there you go. At least that'll be a good lesson for the school district to teach you the school district, hey, do better and start holding people accountable. That's the message here. And always make good choices. Parents, talk to your kids. No fighting. Don't ever fight. I don't want kids seeing it because out in their community they could be getting themselves in trouble. Which can lead them to be going to juvie or jail, depending on one of the two. All right, still to come. The former state senator says Caesars Union's power is over a $3 billion defect. Why is that? That person will explain. Next, however, we're just 2 months away from that tax deadline. And what you're about to see could be something, what the people you're about to meet say, you don't have to pay taxes. But the IRS says this stuff that they're creating is illegal. These people say it's legal. Who's telling the truth? Lynn Sure explains with hidden cameras. Please stay with us. We are just a couple months away from paying, about a month and a half away from paying taxes. Do these two look familiar to you? It ain't no Jim Baker bullshit. No. Could you ever imagine saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to go to jail, man. I don't want to pay taxes. But then people like these people show up to your doorstep saying, hey, what if I told you that you don't have to pay taxes? And then they start sitting you down step by step and saying, this, and that. And your first question to them is it illegal? And they flat out lie to you saying, nope, it is not illegal. It's perfectly legal, and the IRS don't know shit. So, do you believe it's a scam, or do you believe it's a con? Even though it's 2 different words, probably 2 different words. But before you make up your mind, listen to what these people have to say. And remember, you always gotta pay taxes. Otherwise, if you don't, you might go to jail. Here's Lynn Sure. Sorry. Here's Lynn Sure.
Meet Philip and Marlene Marsh. They don't pay income taxes and don't think the rest of us should either.
Our mission is to put the IRS out of business and teach people to overcome their fear of the IRS.
We have a $1 million reward for anyone that can come up with any law that says anyone has to file a tax return. It does not exist.
It doesn't? So why are we all adding up our deductions this time of year? What do the Marshes know that we don't?
Mike McConnell back with my guest, Mr. Philip Marsh. Philip Marsh founded the Pilot Connection Society. Just to recap, you've not paid taxes in at least the last 15 years.
The Pilot Connection Society is a group that preaches there are no laws ordering you to pay taxes on your income, so you can simply opt out of the tax system. They call it untaxing. The message is part religious, part patriotic, and they claim legal.
The American people have to wake up and take the government back because we, the people, are the government of this country.
Federal investigators call Pilot the biggest nationwide tax evasion scam in the country, whose underground membership is estimated to be more than 10,000 and growing. When 2020 attended a Pilot Connection lecture in Nevada with a hidden camera, about 30 people showed up.
Last year, in the entire United States, the Internal Revenue Service got one conviction for willful failure to file.
In Dallas a month later, where we also took a hidden camera, nearly 100 people stood in line on a rainy night to attend a weekly seminar.
Yeah, you can take on the IRS and win.
And recently in Cincinnati, when Pilot invited us to attend, several hundred taxpayers came to find out how to be like the Marshes. The crowd was so large, many had to watch on a monitor in a nearby room.
Federal Reserve owns it all.
They listened to hours of allegations and conspiracy theories, heard the fine print in the IRS code translated into seemingly logical reasons why no one is obligated to the IRS. And whenever the lecture rambled too far from comprehension, Marlene would inject her sales and marketing pitch.
You know, if they had a law, how come they go in and steal money out of your checking account? How come they harass you? How come they use guns? How come they use force? How come they're worse than the mafia?
But there is a price for all this advice. The Marshes don't want you to pay the government, but they will gladly take your money. Attending a lecture costs $20, and you're encouraged to purchase their books and newsletters. But to get the material to learn how to untax yourself, you'll have to spend more than $2,000. We bought one of their kits, and here's what we learned. Step 1. Make all your purchases in cash or money orders. No checks or credit cards to leave a paper trail. In fact, we used a money order to buy the kit. Pilot says that way the government can't learn of your interest in the group or their income. Step 2. Get rid of your Social Security number. Pilot teaches that by having yourself reclassified as an American national, they even provide a sample form to do it, you can escape the system and the IRS can't find you. Step 3. Change the withholding status on your W-4 form so that no money is deducted from your paycheck. Step 4, the most important step. Establish a trust fund and place all your assets, bank accounts, titles to your home and car in it. A trust is a legal means to hold and manage assets, normally under the control of someone else, a trustee. If you give your money to a trust, you're not responsible for its taxes. At the Dallas seminar we attended, they even urged us to use Pilot Connection contacts at banks and law offices.
Now, what you do is you wait until you get a bank account name your trust beside before you decide to close out your existing bank account. One person I recommend you call is Harmon Taylor. He's a Pilot Connection member and a lawyer.
All these steps, according to Pilot, mean you are no longer paying any money to the government, and you're no longer traceable through the Social Security system. You've effectively disappeared. Even if you hadn't, say the Marshes, it wouldn't matter.
When you get an IRS assessment, people go into panic and think they have to pay it. Not true.
Not true. If the
Absolutely
IRS tells you you owe money, you don't have to pay.
No, man, they don't have the authority to tell you you owe money. Okay? It's a voluntary system.
Pilot Connection Society, how may I direct your call?
The nerve center of the operation is in Stockton, California, where a staff of paralegals fields calls and researches IRS codes, while Phil comes up with the overall concepts.
And I think it's going to be a fabulous meeting.
Like many successful business people, he and Marlene offer an added incentive to satisfied customers. For $10,000, you can buy a franchise and spread the word yourself. They claim 300 such franchisees, which, added to their regular members, means the Marshes have earned at least $10 million, unreported dollars that are of great interest to the government. The IRS wants its share and has vigorously gone after Pilot and its assets. Twice in the past year, agents have raided the Marsh home and removed cartons of business records. They've also confiscated material from 2 financial planning businesses believed to be affiliated with Pilot and several franchisees across the country. According to the search warrant, they are running an ongoing criminal enterprise, advocating a money laundering scheme using offshore banking organizations to conceal the source of their funds and taxable income from the Internal Revenue Service.
Authorities have claimed you are running, let me quote here, the biggest tax evasion scam in America.
Well, I can call you an elephant, that doesn't make you one.
No.
And we are not tax evaders, we are tax avoiders, a totally legal position. The IRS tells you that the tax is voluntary in every document they publish, including the 1040 instruction booklet, and then turn around and tell you, yeah, it's voluntary, but of course you've got to volunteer. Give us a break.
Keep in mind, none of the steps in the untaxed package is illegal on its own. But when taken together for the purpose of dodging the IRS, they can make you a criminal. Ellen Murphy is a spokesperson for the IRS.
Illegal tax protesters make arguments like that are really semantics. The Internal Revenue Service administers a law in this country that is a voluntary self-assessment system, but it is not an optional system. You don't have an option to pay.
Where is it written that you don't have an option to pay?
In the Internal Revenue Code, Title 26 of the U.S. Code, which was enacted by Congress.
What, if anything, can you tell me about the Pilot Connection Society?
Basically, we're talking about a illegal tax protest scheme that makes some of the same arguments that have been being made for the last 30 years.
If you put your income, if you put your title to your house and everything into a trust, can you avoid paying income tax?
No. So the argument of set up a trust and it relieves you of the responsibility to file income tax is ridiculous. And it doesn't matter whether it's in the United States, offshore, or in outer space, it doesn't work.
Is it a felony to do that?
If it is done with an attempt to evade the income tax, yes, it is.
Is your money in a trust? You better believe it.
A trust account cannot be attacked by the IRS. Trusts are legal. They are provided for in the IRS Code, Section 644 and 851 et sec.
We're talking about offshore, foreign offshore trusts?
No, not necessarily. We don't necessarily advocate offshore trusts in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, we don't really advocate trust per se.
But wait a minute, you say you don't really advocate trust per se?
No, ma'am.
If I may direct your attention to the monitor, we have videotape from one of your seminars.
Now, what you do is you wait until you get a bank account name your trust beside before you decide to close out your existing bank account.
Now, it looks and sounds to me as if your folks are recommending trust.
Well, they are.
These groups also say that you can change from the status of being a U.S. citizen to an American national, and that then you can rescind your Social Security number that way.
Well, that's not a correct argument either. If you're a citizen of the United States, legally a citizen of the United States, and you have income subject to tax, you've got a tax liability and a requirement to file it.
And if you don't, you'll pay the price. Although they won't provide any names, the IRS says some 1,100 people using Pilot and other tax evasion programs have been prosecuted over the last 3 years. They say almost all have been convicted and sent to prison.
The first letter I received from the IRS came from Philadelphia, and it said, "You owe $56,000. Please remit the check."
Bob Sherman is trying to avoid jail after 2 years with Pilot. Already in trouble with the IRS by 1990 for non-filing, he was attracted by Pilot brochures promising help.
The front of the brochure had 4 letters, and it said fear, basically. You need not be in fear of the IRS. The Pilot Connection had said they could remove any liability, they could remove any liens against property, any levies that may be incurred, and basically take you out of the tax system. I found out that what I had been told was basically total fabrication.
Instead of being untaxed, Sherman saw his debt to the IRS grow to more than $86,000.
the total amount of money that I gave to the representatives of the Pilot Connection was $2,500. Now, for that $2,500, I received basically nothing.
There's people watching this who have been to the seminar, who are thinking of going to the seminars. Tell them why it's not a really good idea.
Because it costs too much. Not only is it costing them whatever fees or whatever they're paying, but it does not relieve them of their liability. It exposes them to interest and penalties and the potential for legal costs to defend themselves. It's just not worth it. It doesn't work, and it's not worth the effort.
And to the charge that you are giving people bad information, that people are going to incur major penalties and may even go to jail. Your answer is?
They only use FEAR, ma'am. False evidence appearing real. They're lying. It's not true. If they were going to stop us, why didn't they stop me 11 years ago when I started? Or somewhere in between. I'm getting bigger and bigger all the time, and they can't stop me because I'm not doing anything illegal.
What we've seen through the years in the illegal tax protest schemes are that some people know exactly what they're doing, and they lead others astray, and some people are making they're making mistakes. I don't know how innocent they are, but they're making mistakes, and they're being hoodwinked by people who are out to make money, period, end of story.
Well, okay, look, here they are on this program, and they say it's illegal. The other folks say it is illegal. If it's illegal, why aren't they in jail?
Well, they say it's legal. The IRS says it is absolutely illegal. The IRS also says they are just beginning their investigation, and that takes a long time. Don't forget, these people have very few records. So their income is not all recorded. So it takes the IRS a long time to go through it, but they claim they're going to get them.
What about people who have done this? Have they gotten away with it?
Some of them have, but you know, the IRS told us that if people will come forward, just because they've been at one of these pilot meetings doesn't mean they're necessarily going to go to jail. If people will come forward, they say, and help them with the investigation and work with them, like Bob Sherman, the victim we showed you, then they'll be all right. It's the Marshes who they're really after.
But look, if individually each step is legal, you stick them all together and it's illegal?
Because the purpose is to evade taxes. You cannot, in this country, not pay taxes. You cannot not report your income. And when you take it together, that's what the package is. That's what they say they're doing. That's what's illegal.
Individually, in some circumstances, you can do it. Altogether, it's illegal.
Against the law, you will go to jail.
There's a new one every week. Thank you, Glenn.
It's illegal. Illegal. You want to think about avoiding taxes? That's illegal. You can go to jail, and then you'll be sitting there with the hand of the bar saying, I should have listened to these people. I hope they got those bitches. Because really, they were avoiding taxes.
For their brain tumors.
And not just that, they're encouraging others to break the law as well. So, yeah. Pay your taxes. And if you don't pay your taxes, you're in trouble. Always remember that. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Education is... Spending education is bankrupting the state of Maryland. And now, the former Maryland senator, state senator, which you're about to meet, says he's calling on lawmakers in Annapolis to take a stand specifically against the teachers union. Now, those are the people you don't want to fight. As we showed you on Stupid in America, you don't want to mess with them because they don't take criticism very quietly. They'll march down on your doorstep and protest until you step down and say or apologize. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but once again, here's Chris Papps.
Jim Brochin, for 16 years, represented Baltimore County in the Maryland State Senate.
Yes.
The Democrat, who left office in 2019, knows how Annapolis works and who holds the power. And right now, he says the Maryland State Education Association, Maryland's largest teachers union, appears to be in charge.
I mean, the power they have over this Democratic legislature
is astounding.
Brochin believes that power held by MSEA is now bankrupting the state via the blueprint for Maryland's future.
This blueprint for Maryland is a financial disaster that's going to take the state down. And somebody's got to stand up and say, enough. And nobody is doing it.
The blueprint for Maryland's future passed in 2021. The law pumps billions of additional state and local tax dollars into public education every year. The law, in part, increases teachers' salaries and expands pre-K. It also doubles what's known as teacher collaboration time, which Brochin says is the single biggest financial blow to taxpayers, which when fully implemented will cost more than $1 billion a year.
You're taking the budgetary issues in Maryland and you're largely placing it on one issue.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Currently, Maryland teachers get 20% of their day for collaboration time, which is about the national standard, according to the National Council on Teacher Quality, a DC-based think tank. Collaboration time is used for lesson planning, training, or helping students individually. The blueprint doubles teacher collaboration time over the next 8 years to 40%. Proponents argue giving educators more time to collaborate will help teachers teach better.
40% means that almost half a day they're collaborating rather than teaching.
Which will cost taxpayers, because if teachers teach less, more teachers are needed to fill classroom time. According to state estimates, if collaboration time is doubled, Maryland will need 25% more teachers, or about 15,000 statewide. And since the blueprint also mandates teachers earn a minimum of $60,000 a year by 2026, the result of the collaboration time increase will cost at least $900 million a year, an amount that does not include benefits, such as pension or health care costs.
What's going to happen in Maryland? We're going to tax people so badly that they're going to walk, which is going to make us have to raise taxes even higher because there's not going to be enough revenue.
Annapolis currently faces a near $3 billion budget deficit. To close the gap, lawmakers, including Governor Wes Moore, are looking to raise taxes and fees while cutting from various programs, including disability services. Governor Moore has also proposed delaying the implementation of teacher collaboration time by 4 years.
Our fidelity is to our students. They are not to our formulas.
But Brochin says the teachers union is lobbying hard in Annapolis against Moore's proposal because, according to Brochin, more teachers mean more union members and greater influence.
And I get calls from Democratic legislators all the time, my colleagues and former colleagues. They call me up and they say, this is unbelievable, this union is out of control.
Fox 45 News emailed the teachers union on this topic. We did not hear back. But MSEA's website does acknowledge that Maryland faces serious budget challenges, though it does not appear the union is willing to give any concessions concerning the blueprint, urging lawmakers to fulfill the state's commitments to our public schools and the staffing, funding, policies, and resources that they need.
From the governor on down, there is a fear of the wrath of the MSEA, okay? Of endorsements, of campaign contributions. I wish somebody would check their power.
Next Wednesday in Annapolis, lawmakers are scheduled to discuss changes to the blueprint to Maryland's future. Project Baltimore will be at those hearings and bring you any updates. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
That's next Wednesday. That's on next week's broadcast. We'll look at that blueprint law, and we'll let you know what happens. We'll let you know what happens via an update. Come up next, a new special series we're calling A Parent's Right to Know. A district policy prevents parents from seeing video or of an incident that happened. Why would school districts take away a parent's right to know what's happening to their child, even if it's in the state? Please stay with us. I promised you this season we're going to be doing Family First. We're still doing that. And next week, we're going to be doing What's a Parent to Know from 2020. We have that for you next week. But we're starting a new series we're going to call A Parent's Right to Know. What happens when your child gets restrained by a teacher and it was caught on tape, but then the district says, nope, 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 no, 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 oh no, oh no, we ain't gonna show you that video. But you just yell and scream and fight, I wanna see that video! I wanna see that video! But then they calm you down and explain, ma'am, sir, because it's state law. Where in the state does it say that they have an exemption to not show you the video? Every parent should have a right to know. The parent you're about to meet of a child who was restrained by a teacher says, that's exactly what happened. Take a look.
Last September, Diana Briggs found herself at her son's school asking for a video. She says the night before, her 6-year-old told her an upsetting story, that his teacher trapped him behind their classroom door and pushed into it with his weight, something she shared with the district and police.
I'm thinking about what my son experienced, what our son experienced, and, that it wasn't there to protect him.
There was a video showing what happened, and at the urging of her principal, Briggs says she made a public information request to view the hallway footage.
I talked to the campus police officer who told me that they would have it ready. They just needed to redact other children's faces. Open Records told me, oh, if the video footage isn't outside and it's in the hallway, we'll be able to get that to you within a few days. My vice principal, my principal tell me, kept asking me, have you seen it yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen it. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to see it any day now.
But nearly 2 weeks later, Briggs got an email from the district saying it was denying her request. Records show Austin ISD then wrote to the Texas Attorney General's office, citing an exception to the state's Public Information Act, giving the district the choice to withhold the video if it believes releasing it could interfere with an active criminal investigation.
How am I going to interfere with this investigation? Do you understand that it's part of the process of us getting our son help to be able to tell a mental health provider, this is exactly what happened because we saw it with our own eyes.
In response to our team and in an email to Briggs, the district said it was following an internal police department policy. It turns out other school districts across Central Texas have similar policies. Several told us they will withhold videos and other records from parents at law enforcement's requests.
The parents should be an exception to that. It makes no sense why we shouldn't be. It was our child that was involved.
Education attorney Martin Circule says parents are an exception, not only under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, but also under the Texas Public Information Act, which gives parents a special right of access.
If I want to ask information about you, I get it. If I want to ask information about myself and my kid, I'm supposed to get it under the Open Records Act anyway. The information where, once again, this is a video of my child being abused.
Austin ISD declined multiple interview requests. After our questions, the district said it reviewed its policy, but does not plan to change it at this time because they believe it preserves the integrity of investigations. In a statement to KXAN, district officials said, in the past, we've had families publicly release videos that are a part of an open investigation. When cases are judged in the court of public opinion, that can jeopardize how the case ultimately gets prosecuted.
They had told us, once the investigation is over, you will be able to view the video. Once it is not an active investigation,
When the teacher at the center of the case was arrested and charged with unlawful restraint in October 2024, the Briggs family thought that time had finally come.
It's not an active investigation anymore. Allow me and my husband to come see the video.
But once again, records show the district denied their request, this time saying the case is now pending in court, and the district believes the records are still confidential. The district added, "We're unsure of how long the case will be prosecuted for, but after the case is closed in court, you can make another request."
What? Multiple people told me, I watched this video 40 times. I watched this video 100 times. I can't believe he did what he did. Multiple. Have you seen the video yet? Okay. Well, once you see it, you're going to have a lot of feelings. It should be something that they want to just provide to us, to help this student, right?
Records show Austin ISD sent 3 letters to the Office of Attorney General over the Briggs' request, all of them asking whether the district was right to withhold the video because of the ongoing investigation and then prosecution. In at least one response from the AG, state attorneys said that they weren't going to issue an opinion one way or the other because the district had not provided all the relevant information. This case, though, is still under review by the AG. We also reached out to the teacher who is no longer with the district and his attorney. So far, they have not commented on the record. Kelly Wiley, State of Texas.
Thank you, Kelly. If you're wondering why we did not name the teacher in our report, we chose to instead focus on the policy at Austin ISD and surrounding school districts. We will be following his case, though, which is still in the court process. Meanwhile, Texas lawmakers have already filed several bills addressing parents' rights to records involving their children. Among those, Senator Bob Hall filed Senate Bill 112 to ensure school districts are not able to withhold information from parents despite the nature of the record. And Representative Synfronia Thompson filed House Bill 728 to require school districts to respond faster once parents ask to view video of their student. Both measures are awaiting a committee hearing. Online now, explore our digital story and the data we obtained showing how often video footage was released by Austin ISD and when it wasn't. Just look for the link in this week's State of Texas story.
A switch to a new toll road operator
to view video of their ISD and when it wasn't. Just look for the link in this week's State of Texas story.
We are going to be raising some common sense, and we're going to look into that bill when we come back. Because every parent should have a right to know. Don't go away. The case is now pending court, and as such, the district believes the records are still confidential under Section 552.108 of the Government Code. Well, during the break, I looked for that under statutes.capital.texas.gov, and it wasn't there. But then a Google search came up and popped up this. Section 552.108 of the Government Code is an exception to the public information requirements in Section 552.021. This exception allows governmental bodies to withhold certain information related to law enforcement, corrections, and prosecutions. When does it apply? When releasing information will interfere with the detection, investigation, or prosecution of the crime, when the information is only related to investigation that did not result in a conviction of a deferred adjunction. Now, what about Section 552.021 of that Government Code? Section 552.021 governs the ability of public information during the normal business hours of a governmental body. It also states information is not confidential, but is exempt from disclosure that is public information. Public information includes any electronic communication created, transmitted, received, or maintained in connection with official business. It includes any physical material on which the information can be recorded. Public information includes books, letters, documents, emails, and more. It's exempt from disclosure under that section. and Protective Health Information is defined of Section 181.006 of the Health and Safety Code, but not public information. That's just basically it. But it also violates the Public Information Act.
A special right of access.
The Texas Public Information Act. Their handbook. Okay, that's the Attorney General of Texas. Their handbook. This handbook, you can find. It's a 359-page PDF document you can find on your computer or if you have a laptop. All this. The Exemption Act, although the Act in most government information available to the public receiving exemptions exists, if an exemption might apply to the governmental body wishes to withhold information, the governmental body generally must obtain 10 business days receiving a records request. But every parent should have a right to know. So these are the keys. Public information is available to the public and women during the normal business hours of the governmental body. I mean, paragraph subsection A is like owns the information, governmental body, individual officer, and employee. But does it apply to schools? We probably won't know. Set forth by section 552.012 of the code. I mean, all this is looking through this handbook, I have to say that the procedures were probably followed. But the parents still have a right to know about their children. That's their child that was being bullied. But many other policies are following that law.
Will withhold videos and other records from parents at law enforcement's request.
I mean, just
We
listen.
saw it with
You
our
watch
own
this.
In response to our team, and in an email to Briggs, the district said it was following an internal police department policy. It turns out other school districts across Central Texas have similar policies. Several told us they will withhold videos and other records from parents at law enforcement's request.
Let's look at this. Unless law enforcement is involved, prohibited by law enforcement from showing the footage, phone access may be delayed to ensure the investigation is not compromised. But this teacher is in jail. What does that tell you, boys and girls? The case might not be closed. So, does there need to be change? Do you think there needs to be change? Yes, there needs to be change. As parents, we have the right to know what's happening to our child. And we can't build down the light switch, keep them in the dark and say, sorry. We just can't call them on the phone and say, sorry, due to this law, we're not going to provide you any information at all. I mean, what if you want to build a case? I mean, you're trying to protect your child. You're trying to teach a class, and yet all of a sudden you want to come on here and say, sorry, we cannot provide you with any of this information. Just provide a portion of the video. Provide them with the video. Yeah, but now we want to violate our policies. People break the rules all the time. And they got away with it. I mean, those two people we saw in the insurance report, they got away with paying taxes, and they haven't went to jail. Sorry, bro. But that email.
Citing an exception to the state's
I mean, this is all in the government code. Information held by law enforcement agency or a prosecutor that deals with the detection, investigation, or prosecution is exempted from the requirements. If the release of information will interfere with the detection or investigation. So record information.
Public Information Act, giving the district the choice to withhold the video if it believes releasing it could interfere with an active criminal investigation.
Why would the school investigate it? I mean, this teacher restrained the student. That's an assault charge right there. But this is basically mean they'd say, okay, we'll look into it, and then they just sit there like with thumbs in their asses, not caring at all. You know, schools are there for students. You care about your kids. You care about the children's kids. I mean, the parents of the kids' school, you watch over them. If something bad should happen, then this is what you should do. This, and that. But, like I said, there are laws that need to be changed. Like that Senate bill.
Addressing parents' rights to records involving their children. Among those, Senator Bob Hall filed Senate Bill 112 to ensure school districts are not able to withhold information from parents despite the nature of the record.
Okay.
And Representative Senfronia Thompson filed House Bill 728 to require school districts to respond faster once parents asked to view video of their student.
Release both bills. Just release both bills. Lo-de-do-do-do-do-do-do. La-di-da-da. Everybody's happy. Everybody can defend their kids. Every parent should have a right to know. No excuses. And we'll be right back. When you watch America's Funniest Videos, seeing kids getting in all sorts of trouble, this one take the cake. 16 million views. Take a look at this one.
Man, this man that hungry. Bruh. Really? Really? Get out my oven! Give me my stuff! What's wrong with you? Go to your room.
At least he wasn't trying to touch with his hands and utensils. Turned around like, what about the meat? What about that meat? It was a walk away from me, didn't say a word. He was walking away. But can I still get a rib? He looked back like, I'm coming back and getting me a couple ribs, a piece of chicken. Looking like, you just put me up there and added me the tongs. What the fuck? Get out my office, ascension. You never think you have to say. Like it wasn't on me, burst out laughing. I was gonna say something wrong with me one day. Hey, give me one rib though. Stare down. Wow. Wow. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Wednesday going to Thursday. We'll see you again at Give Me a Break Friday. For all of us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break. Stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Good night.